Hello everybody, it's been a while since I've made a video, so we're here to leech off of Mr. President's hard work in putting together a preview. If you guys aren't aware, the Awakening Rebellion dev team have put out quite a few previews in the last few days, weeks? Anyways, we've got a bunch of new previews, including one of the ones I've been most looking forward to, which is the hero traits. I can finally talk about them. We're going to find out how much I can talk about, because they had shown this to me previously, and I basically didn't want to say anything about it at all, because we weren't allowed to. Anyways, yeah, so it's been a while. We're making a video, and I figured this would be an easy one that I'm sure many people are also interested in, and a lot of people aren't in the Discord, so, you know, figured I'd show it off as well, and we're going to actually just watch the video together, because I've seen a lot of this stuff in here, but I'm not sure exactly what is in this one, so we're going to find out together what's going on. I do have it on slightly faster speed so that it's not, no offense to Mr. President, but he is talking slow because he's trying to think while he's doing this. Well, we're just watching, so do keep in mind that if it feels like he's talking faster than you might expect, it's because we are on like 1.15 times speed instead of regular.
Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Mr. President. I am doing another preview. This time we're going to be looking at the minor heroes and just talking about the way that they've changed, the overall hero rework that is coming to AOTCW and will eventually be backported in some way to AOTR. Just kind of going over it, giving you guys the basics of how it's going to work. So first of all, I've built...
Okay, I'm already going to stop the video. So there's three things that you can immediately notice. One of them I wasn't even aware of, because it actually wasn't as done as it is now. They did a lot of work, evidently, in like the last month and a bit. We got the full big map in the background there. You can see we have the Chungus large version of Awakening Rebellion. We're not waiting for the... we're not going to be waiting for the like second update of this mod to get the big map. We get to start with the absolutely ridiculous sized map, which I'm not sure if it's going to be a good thing. We're going to find out. Anyways, that is super exciting. It's amazing that they managed to finish all 193 planets or whatever it is. Because that's a lot of planets. On top of all the heroes, look at how many heroes we're looking at on the screen right now. These are all minor heroes. Like, they're not on the top up there. They're all minor heroes. And did you catch what he also said? You're gonna backport this? Okay. Well, yeah, we gotta get into this, because let's just say the hero rework is really cool.
Built a couple of heroes already. Most of these are very early game heroes, so these are things that you're going to be able to get with either limited or no tech. So the first thing to go over is that heroes now have a trait system, and how this is going to work is that every single hero that is named is going to have a trait. So for example, if we were to look at Shadow Squadron, we have a vigorous bomber commander. This is a defensive trait. Now, there are 4 different categories of traits, and then each trait has 3 tiers within it. So we have our offensive traits. These are going to be things that are going to buff up your speed and your damage, but they are going to reduce your health and shields. And so basically you're saying, I'm going to be more vulnerable, but I'm also going to do more damage and get to my positions faster. You have your defensive traits, which are going to say, I'm going to have an increase in health, but I'm going to lose out on damage and speed, and in some cases, ability recharge time. Then you have what I like to call your morale traits. These are kind of buffs to things like your health, your shields, your damage, that kind of thing. And then we have your soft stat traits. These are going to be things that are not going to touch things that you're going to see on the unit card, like your shields, your health, your speed, that kind of thing. And those are going to kind of do soft stats, like, hey, this is going to buff up your defense. This is going to buff up your damage per shot, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's a lot of stuff going on, many of which we're going to have to figure out how they actually function in-game. Because I will say, I have seen some of the content. I don't know if in this further in this video he's going to show us. I think he will show us probably some battles. I don't know if he'll show both factions. Let's just say I am very much so hoping to find a hero that will... I'm not sure if I want a defensive hero or an offensive hero. So if you're not already aware, I am definitely going to be starting as the CIS, because I would like to utilize the... I'm hopefully going to get the good, like, size group of Munificents and just create an artillery line, and I really hope we can get some really awesome like artillery support hero, like somebody who gives a buff either to like defensive units, so we can put them in like the front line and have some big tanky unit that just never dies. Well, our munificence just shell whatever's in the back line to pieces, or some guy that just buffs the absolute like crap out of their heavy turbo lasers that I believe they have heavies, whatever they got. I'm not sure what the AOTR devs gave the munificent in this version, because, well, every single mod and every single source material seems to decide that it has either a heavy turbo laser, a heavy turbo ion cannon, or something in between, and sometimes more than one, or sometimes just one really mega ultra heavy one. Anyways, I'm interested to see how well I can make this formation work, because I have a feeling that the AI, according to what we already know, or at least I know, the AI is going to kick you in the shins and then between the legs and then punch you in the face. And then when you fall on the ground, it will keep kicking you until you die. And then it will still kick your corpse for another 20 minutes because, yeah, that's probably what's going to happen to me. I don't know how good the rest of you guys are, but I can tell you right now, I don't have a good feeling about my chances on expert difficulty of day one. Let's just say we might have a very short series. We'll find out.
So we'll go over that with a couple examples, but I just kind of want to introduce this idea. As it stands right now, we have 12 traits. Some are better than others, and they all fit within one of those categories that I've explained there. So just to get Shadow Squadron off screen here. Actually, before we do that, Vigorous Bomber Commander. Each trait can apply to either all units, whether it's space or ground, or they can apply to a specific category.
That is the most important information, because that is literally the difference between going, all right, so we have 3 of the, I forgot what they're called, the, like, Omni something, I think that's what they're called, some Omni, like, the, giant droid, support ships that, drop, like, supply or, like, stuff, like the giant support one that's blown up by, the one guy on, Umbara in the Clone Wars. Those things are really tanky. And I might be able to pull up the picture on screen right now. I'm not sure. Depends how lazy I am. But we have seen a unit preview of that thing. It is very, very tanky. It's like no weapons, but it's really tanky. So I'm wondering if we can get like a hero version of that that's like ultra defensive for that unit or like that category. I don't know what it's under. It's probably under capital ship or something, or like a cruiser or whatever. Anyways, I'm hoping it can get like a massive defense buff or something, and then we can get like a munificent hero. That munificent buff gives them a buff just for their like weaponry or something. Oh, I gotta use this. This strategy is gonna be the greatest thing ever. It's gonna be so good, and I bet I'm gonna get destroyed in 2 seconds later anyway. But you know, we'll deal with that when we get there.
So in this case, it says Vigorous Bomber Commander, meaning that this is only going to apply to bombers. So if you're using a bomber-heavy fleet, you want Shadow Squadron in there. If you're using Shadow Squadron in a capital ship-heavy fleet or a fighter-heavy fleet, that bonus, you know, might go to waste, whereas you could increase the capabilities of another battle group. Looking at kind of a tier 3, a high-tier morale trait, this is Shonen Killian. He is in Invincible. Heroes, just like in AOTR, they might have modified loadouts compared to what their base unit is. Shonen Killian is probably one of your stronger early tech heroes.
I don't know if that's enough to describe this guy. Dude's bonus is ridiculous. So, I don't know if I doubt we'll still have admirals. Like, admiral is an actual trait, because this is the replacement for the generic admiral traits. This guy right here. So, he's still a generic battleship trait, meaning I believe he buffs capital ships, unless they change that. Hence why he's in a capital ship. But look at the bonus he's providing. 15% bonus health. 10% bonus to damage, 12.5 bonus to shields, 10% faster ability recharge time. This guy, if he wasn't in an Invincible, if you put him in like a Dreadnought or something, and he would be so broken. The only reason I say he's not as broken is, as you can see, the Invincible's a picket. And I'm not even that big of a fan of the Venator, to be honest. That's the reason I play the CIS. I like the CIS shit so much better than the triangles. Or the Republic triangles are just average. The acclimator's like cool, but there's like only so many ways to spam an acclimator. Whereas the CIS has so much variety in ships that it's not comparable. Anyways, point is basically he's not as insane because he himself isn't actually ridiculously strong, but he's going to probably be a very useful hero to tank. Based off of his total stats of, 22,000 heavy armor and 10,000 shields, which not insane, but, like, that's pretty good still. Especially for an early game hero. We're going to have a problem killing him.
But he's gotten invincible. His says Inspiring Battleship Commander. 15% bonus to health, 10% bonus to damage, 12.5 bonus to shield, and 10% faster ability recharge time. Inspiring, this is kind of the top end of the morale trait section. There are no downsides, but I should mention that the spread for the traits that don't have downsides are 15% maximum, whereas the traits with downsides, they can go as high as 30% in either the positive or negative direction.
That's going to be very interesting. For example, ground heroes. I do wonder, they're going to backport this, they said already. So I'm going to speculate. I wonder, what do you guys think Vader's getting? What do you think they're going to give Vader? We're getting like a 30% bonus to like attack and like a 15% reduction in like health and like increased movement speed or something, but like they like receive like 10% more damage, like not like a decrease in health, but like base health. So their base health goes down, but they also take increased damage. I think that would be really interesting, where your army is like incredibly strong in offense, but incredibly weak on defense. Or maybe they'll go the opposite and be like, Vader's very actually defensive, so he gives a big defensive bonus to everybody. Anyway, it'll be interesting to see. Another one I want to see, I don't know if they'll... I'm still waiting on him. He's been holding out on him, on General Grievous. I want to see General Grievous. One of these days, I'm going to see General Grievous, and it's going to be a glorious day.
Direction.
Might even be in this video.
Kind of going to the opposite end of that, we've got another hero here. This is Niles Tennant. This is a political admiral. So,
already a loser. I don't even need to read any of his traits. I already know he's a loser. And he actually is. Look at this scumbag. Look at this piece of trash. Political admiral. Minus 10% bonus to health. Makes sense. Lines perfectly. 5% bonus to speed. And 5% slower. This guy is horrible. I love this dude. Oh, he's the best. I can't wait to blow him up. Oh, this is my favorite hero. Yeah, we got Ozzel 2.0. Oh, finally. There's finally another version of Ozzel. Glad to see his disabilities transcends eras. And yeah, glad to see that he is not just, we're gonna have more than just Ozzel in the future with the you know, basically they got their position through their own personal abilities. Yeah, that's what they got them from. They're not their family, not their connections. Their personal skill and tactical genius. That's what we'll say. Yeah.
Due to his kind of connections within the government, he was able to get his hands on a prototype Venator. So before you...
Like, I feel like I wouldn't even want that. Like, if you were in a war and you had the option of like, oh, you know what, let's get the prototype. Well, that sounds cool, right? But it's the prototype. So theoretically, there could be some major flaws. So, you know, I probably wouldn't have been as willing to take over that as he is.
Tech into Venators, you can build Niles Tennant. He's going to have a Venator that you don't have to tech into. But the downside is because he's a political admiral, he is going to give a 10% health debuff because doesn't quite know what he's doing. But
doesn't quite know what he's doing. I don't think he has any idea what he's doing. In fact, according to what's it say there? Oh, he got it through political connections. Well, his fleet's well supplied. Maybe they should give him, like, I don't know, the 10% health bonus and minus like 15% to damage because he's just, I don't know, doesn't know how to like give orders. His entire crew's like, sir, what do we do? We're receiving fire. And he's just like, I don't know. Vice Admiral or whoever's second in command on his ship. Well, do you have any suggestions? And then they debate over it for 5 minutes while getting shelled.
But, because he's, wanting to rush and show a good impression, he's going to get a 5% bonus to speed. So a little bit faster, a little less health, a little bit slower on the ability recharge time. This kind of is to simulate how a political admiral might function. And then if we...
Yeah, political. Just can't get over the idea. He has 5% increased speed. You know what he does in the formation? He's the guy that's like, I am going for achievements, and sends his ship straight into the enemy line and blows up like 5 minutes into the battle. And the rest of the fleet's like, we just lost one of our capital ships. In fact, it was the only prototype of the new capital ships we had. That thing cost literally like 100,000 credits or whatever to build. Talking in AOTR terms, I'm just making it up, obviously. It costs anywhere close to that. But assuming if we made it off of like real Star Wars, it'd be like a couple 100 million credits. Anyways, and the guy proceeded to fly it in there. We lost 13,000 soldiers, and the admiral was also dead, along with the ship. And we caused absolutely no casualties to the enemy formation. Sounds about right for why he gave him 5% speed. Guy's going straight in there. And not coming back either.
We were to look at Warlord Zinj's mom. This is in a...
Oh, you remember that, dude. Yeah. Yeah, if you guys remember, that's... Zinj is the guy who was so tactically garbage that he threw away his own empire and decided that he wanted to literally lead an assault across the galaxy. Like, he took over like half the galaxy, but then didn't defend the places he took over, so they immediately got taken down. And after like, I don't know, how long did we make it? We made it like 100 or whatever cycles. He didn't even have like any territory left. I gave him like a solid starting area, and he just lost all of it. It was like the most divided up area. It was his own empire, or whatever was left of it.
Aggressive cruiser commander. So you can see the negative 7.5 bonus to health, plus 7.5 bonus to damage, 5% bonus to speed. These are just examples. So whenever you see the word aggressive, those bonuses are going to apply. So even if it's on the ground, if you say like a aggressive infantry commander, it's still going to be a negative 7.5 bonus to health, plus 7.5 to damage, plus 5 to speed. So the trait name is always going to be the first thing, and then the category that it applies to is going to be the second thing. So aggressive cruiser, political admiral. Admiral is going to be for fleet-wide. General is going to be for ground-wide. On top of that, we've also got the introduction of generic.
Look at how many units there are. Let's steal all the information. What have we got in here? We got the I'm going to assume that's prototype Venator. Maybe it's the first version. Looks like a support. Is that a Pelta? I'm guessing it's a Pelta. We got a dude. Look at how many. Look at all the heroes. Look at all the heroes. You can't even see them. They literally probably go off screen. Yeah, we're gonna need that hero tab finally, because that's a lot of heroes. Imagine you have to build heroes just to see the rest of the heroes. Yeah, don't want to say too much because I'm not sure how much they want me to share, but they made a lot of heroes. Like, a lot of heroes. Also, by the way, this video is gonna be really long. There's a part 2 to this. Maybe I'll make 2 videos about this. Maybe that's a better idea.
A few more generic commanders. So, for example, this is a generic wing commander. Just a 2.5% bonus to all stats for fighters and bombers. Or in this case down here, we've got a 2.5% bonus to...
So this is interesting. Generic commander. These are going to be like the ones we already have in Awakening Your Rebellion. But it's very interesting to see. We have a build limit of 3, but how they do actually have a subcategory where they're also going to take up one of the slots of our overall commanders, meaning one of our named commanders. You could only have like 7 named commanders if you built all 3 of these guys. Another actually thought, this means that there will be a total of 3 buildable ground and space ones. I'm guessing. And then is there like more than one? Anyways, point being, if we assume there's 3 that you can build on the ground or something, and 3 you can build in space, that technically you could build 6 of these generic commanders, and then you have 4 slots left for named guys, because the named guys are definitely going to be expensive. So if you just wanted some generic clone commanders to lead your armies, these are the guys. Obviously, they got a main. He's got a tank. Hey, he's got a tank. Dang, this guy's in the, what's it called? Oh, I forgot the name. You can see the tank on the screen. I guarantee you it's the, yeah, okay, I'm too tired for this. Yeah, let's just say I was at work right before this. I just came home and we're recording a video. So anyways, yeah, let's just play the video.
Vehicles as a vehicle tactician. Or over on Wayland, for example, frigate commander.
And now I'm kind of confused. Maybe they aren't like a spammable. Maybe there's just a bunch of random ones you can build at certain places. Anyways.
So that's just kind of showcasing how this is going to work and kind of the impact of what heroes are going to go well with your playstyle. So we've done this because, one, as you can see in the build bar there, we have a few heroes that we're going to be launching with. And each one of these heroes is going to be unique because they've got different traits, different ships. Some have modifications, some allow for early access, but they are all going to form into different playstyles. And you can just pick and choose what heroes and what traits are going to benefit your playstyle the most, and what's going to give you the edge over your enemy. Because if you're, say, stuck in teching into something and your enemy is going in an unexpected direction and is pulling a move that surprises you, then you, instead of having to cancel research and start research in something else, you might be able to pivot by just picking a solid leader. Now, because there are so many heroes that you can choose from, I'm just going to show Shadow Squadron again here. You're going to see at the bottom there, it says build limit group commanders. So you can only have 10 commanders active at a time. This is a combination of both space and ground. So you can have 10 ground commanders, 0 space. You can have a whole bunch of space commanders, 0 ground. You can have 5 and 5. You can split it however you want, but the limit is 10. Now, with AOTR, if you were to lose your minor heroes, they are gone for good. We are experimenting a bit with the Clone Wars mod because we want to allow minor heroes to be rebuildable. So if I lose my political admiral...
So yeah, we had a whole discussion on this. I'm super happy that they actually listened to awesome. The AOTR devs are the greatest. They listen to feedback on everything. And this is one of the ones that we were all like, yeah, let's, because everyone basically came to the conclusion that we all wanted to use the minor heroes. And based off of how AOTR plays, for example, when I play the Empire, when I use Fullock, I love using Fullock. He's the 501st commander, if you're not aware. And I absolutely love using him. He's the most miserable piece of trash to keep alive. Because he's an infantry commander, and his actual unit is comprised of 3 squads. But he, as a hero, is a single clone in one of the 3 squads. Meaning 2 of the 3 squads can die, and the unit's still alive. But if the one unit Fullock's in dies, the whole group dies. Which is horrible, because that man wants to be on the front lines every time I deploy him. And yeah, based off of that, I would repeatedly, if you've probably seen it in the series, throw him in like a Juggernaut or an AT-AT, and the rest of the unit would move forward, which is not really how you would be wanting to use a hero. You're not, the whole point of the hero is they're supposed to be a stronger version of basically a generic unit most of the time, or some special, super awesome, overpowered unit, but you only have one of them whole galaxies, so I'm talking more of like Darth Vader or Luke Skywalker in that case. But minor heroes in this case, you want to actually be able to use them. You're not supposed to be afraid to use your minor heroes, but, well, in AOTR, everyone pretty much was, because they would die, like Shaq, who loses them 2 weeks into the campaign, and you never really ever see him use the heroes because half of the time they're either dead, or they don't ever get into battle because they will die. Which is no fun for anybody who actually wants to see the cool units, And that's why I believe they went with the decision to at least try out rebuildable minor heroes, because that's the easiest way, instead of making them all major heroes, which would be kind of ridiculous and absolutely horrifying to actually deal with, because you would have so many rescue missions. Being able to buy them back after a certain number of weeks or something seems like a way better alternative. And it will allow us, for example, the one that I was most like reason like this would be so important in this mod, the guy he's currently on, like Shadow Squadron. That's a fighter hero. They aren't like Vader. Vader and Wedge Antilles are the two strongest fighter heroes. Vader's free even. He doesn't even matter. If you have Vader's starter story, his fighter's always there. And it can die, it doesn't matter. But he has, even his fighter has like a survivability ability. And then Wedge is just broken. He doesn't like ever die most of the time. Anyway, even in a dogfight, unless he's like literally outnumbered by like 40 squads of fighters. But the bomber heroes and the other few heroes you get as the Empire in the later stages aren't going to survive very long. They just kind of go and disappear every now and then. You're like, oh, I didn't even see how he died. That was one of my concerns I had with all of these fighter heroes that the Republic has. I don't know if the CIS even has any, but point is, if you were to use Shadow Squadron, I can almost guarantee you he will die within the first 5 battles you use him in, because he's a bomber. And there's one thing bombers have in common. They got to go up against ships that probably are designed to shoot back at them. Or at least have 1 or 2 laser cannons that can at least aim in their direction. Never mind fighter squadrons on the ship that will swarm towards them and rip them in half. And because the AI now likes to target more valuable units most of the time, it will probably target your hero fairly often. Being able to rebuild this guy after a little while will definitely make it more worthwhile to actually bring fighter heroes, because otherwise nobody wants to bring in a fighter hero if it's just going to die in 2 seconds anyway. And, you know, if it's a one-time use, even less likely to do so.
Admiral, Niles Tennant, or a Shadow Squadron gets shot down, they are going to be rebuildable just from any Republic administration. That's the building with the R there in my building slot. And that's going to allow them to be rebuildable. Now, to make it so that you're not just spamming the heroes out, the prices are going to be higher and their build times are going to be longer than the conventional unit, and that's going to serve as your cooldown. And you might want to switch things up a bit, or you might really like the hero and you want to keep things going exactly the same. So what we're going to do is we're going to get a little fleet engagement going, and I'll see if I can show you guys the difference of what type of heroes are going to have impacts on what. So we're going to go ahead and cut straight to a battle. Okay, so what we are going to do is, since my fleet right now is primarily made up of acclimators and dreadnoughts, if you highlight over the description, you can see that this is a class cruiser. And this is a class cruiser. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and use my aggressive cruiser commander bonus, because I think I can speed up my dreadnoughts and have them do more damage so that I can overwhelm the enemy defenses. So we are going to go ahead and get engaged for a battle at Tapasi. We've got to unpause. There we go.
Cruising speed. Tactical battle imminent.
So, a couple things with the heroes. We have done our absolute hardest to make sure that every single hero not only just has a unique trait, but also feels and plays somewhat uniquely. So, for example, Mama Zinj here. Red Dreadnought. A red knot.
That is an intro. Red Dreadnought, red knot. Okay. Yeah. That is really awesome that they've managed to, okay. I can't say the number, but the amount of heroes that if they manage to get every single hero, or at least most of them, to be unique, I can't tell you, there's no other game dev like it's done anything close to that ever, because I'm sorry, there is way too many heroes according to them. The meme in the Discord channel was 100% correct. Yeah, anyway, let's this engagement, I've seen a bit of it when I was just taking a look what was in this video, and all I can really say is not the best performance, Mr. President. I have to work on I didn't see how the battle went out. I just saw the positioning and went, that is not a great idea.
And then launches 2 fighter squadrons of these C-43 trackers. So, what we're going to do
Choose your reinforcements.
is we're going to speed up our dreadnoughts as well as our acclimators.
Full steam ahead. On our way.
Now, this is not going to be a tactical advice video, but what we're going to do
All right,
is we're
fair
going to
enough.
take our cruisers
Plotting flight plan.
and we're going to charge the line.
Okay, I'll forgive you for that. I did not hear that part, but yeah, because when I like didn't like watch this little intro when I was like I said previewing the video, I just like skipped through like 3 different sections to see what was going on, and I saw the battle when he was engaging, and I went like kind of face palmed. I went, oh my gosh, no, please don't be showing
So,
this as your preview.
All of our dreadnoughts plus
Make
our
everybody
commander,
think you're bad at the game when you're
we are
probably
gonna
like
get her-
better than
get her
90% of the
up
player
right here,
base.
try and get as close to that
And that's
goal
not
as
an
possible,
exaggeration.
since those cruisers do the damage. Acclimators, we're going to get right up beforehand because the fact that they're faster. So once everything gets going,
Honestly speaking, it's probably a little generous to the player base to say he's only better than 90% of them. Maybe more like 99% of the player base probably would lose present. Kind of responsible for all of the balancing, or at least previewing at least most of the balancing. He has to actually go over it as the head of the mod team. So, you know, I'm fairly certain out of most people, he's aware of more of the actual nitty-gritty information that's needed to know how to use stuff than the rest of us like me, who kind of just goes, does this work? Oh, it did not, and the unit is dead.
and we are not in fast forward, so you can see that they're moving.
Oh, yeah, this is what my point
And then
was.
we're going to go ahead
Dude,
and
the
send
acclimators,
our
they
V-19
zoom
swarm
in.
just in an attack move formation.
Okay, the whole thing's moved. Everything's zooming.
Now,
Other than the
against
dreadnoughts. Dreadnoughts are not moving.
a station, a defense station, and we see an invincible on radar. Usually what I'm about to do would be something that would be considered quite stupid.
I'm glad
now,
you agree,
because we're
because I
rushing into our
was
positions,
confused
we've
when I
got
saw this.
less health, but there's no impact to our shields.
Yeah.
So there's a plus.
Triangulating target.
So we're just going to go ahead and start using our acclimators to start shooting down some Corvettes. That's a path.
Uh-huh. Oh, it's doing it again. And this time we're letting it do it.
Okay, knock out these carriers. So with our increased damage, I'm also going to go ahead and do this. Get our powered weapons going. Just do as much damage as possible.
Moving the
Kill the
red
enemy
dot.
before they can kill me.
I don't know why that is such
Where's our
a
commander?
great name for this.
She's just slow boating it back
I
here.
will use this unit when I do
Oh,
a
and her
Republic
dreadnought,
one
she's
eventually,
got
and just because of
stun
that,
ions on
we'll
her
call it the
red
red
knot.
knot.
So if you're getting into a position where it's like, hey, the enemy might be doing a little too much damage to you, well, use your commander, get her up on the front, and start debuffing them. Okay. Acclimator down. Expected loss. And I know I said this last video, but I'm just reiterating it again. I'm still working on cleaning up audio. So, you guys probably might not notice a huge difference, because for the most part, this is what the final sound design is going to be like. But for me, it's the little things. So as we're going through, we're engaging this Invincible, which, by the way, in this era, Invincibles are absolute tanks, and the Republic having access to them in the early game kind of solidifies the game design that we have in mind. But we got our commander in, we started stunning this ship, and then we're going to see if we can get a stun round off on the goal in as well. Perfect. So now we've got them debuffed, the swarm worked, the acclimators are in. We're going to go ahead and
I
start
will
knocking
say,
out.
this is
knocking out
looking
the goal in here.
absolutely fabulous.
And then let's go ahead
And
and
the
do
red
it
knot
again.
is
Hit
doing
him with
amazing.
powered weapons.
I don't know why I can't. That is the best aim I've ever heard for
And
a
then we're going
dreadnought.
to start shifting our fire as this Invincible is almost down.
Also, I don't know what his fleet's done, but it's impressive that he's managed to circle every
So,
single unit, basically,
we've
of the
got
enemy
that, and
fleet.
then
Somehow,
in our next
his units
fight, I'm gonna
wrapped
show
around
you
all of them.
kind of the difference of maybe a protective commander, or maybe one that just doesn't influence these stats, and then you guys can kind of look at the video footage. You can compare and get a feel for what that's going to look like.
More interested to see what that is.
So,
Slow firing
Invincible
shot coming
is
out of the
down.
red knot is.
We're
There's
going to go
a
ahead
slightly
and
light
knock out
blue
this
shot. I'm
station.
going to assume
I'm probably
that's
going to cut
some
the rest of this
variation of an
out,
ion
so
shot.
then if I do, we'll just see
Theoretically,
you
all
in
the
the
blue ones would be ions, but because I don't think how the game's going to work, that would be such a pain in the butt to code. They're probably just blue turbo lasers. So I'm going to assume the lighter blue is still ion.
next battle. Okay, so I also thought we're going to go ahead and do a ground battle since I had a few.
So in case anybody is wondering, there's he's posted like 3 different videos or 4, because there was also the diplomacy one. I'm not really over the diplomacy or the bounty hunters. They're really cool. If you guys want to watch them, I'll probably link the channels those are on, or just the actual trailers in the description. But yeah, see what he's got for ground, because I haven't actually seen a whole lot of ground.
Republic defense troopers laying around, which, by the way, look at these boys. Oh, one died. What did we get shot by?
We're getting sniped.
This is the Bogdan map. This is one of my personal favorites. I always love playing on this. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a infantry assault here, and we're just going to push this wave forward.
I don't know why, but I love this unit design for the Republic security forces, or security forces, whatever they're called. Not because, like, they're awesome looking or something, or, like, they're the coolest, like, awesome, like, super amazing looking design, but because they look really fun to destroy. Like, I feel like they look really fun to just absolutely annihilate, which is exactly what you want from cannon fodder tier units.
Because what we're going to do is we're going to show you how effective this is pushing a wave forward without a hero, and then we're going to go ahead and bring in Jace Dolan, who is a PDF commander with the bold trait, as you can see there, bold infantry commander. Again, bold is always consistent. No matter where you see bold, it's always going to be these bonuses. Infantry is the category that the bonuses apply to.
One thing I will never understand. I mean, he doesn't have it. I think some of the other units do. The one combination that I personally find is ridiculous, which unfortunately I think a few units will have as the Republic. I don't think the CIS will have them, but they'll have their own, like, ones that won't have the rush. If you give a unit rush down and proximity mines, I just don't understand. Because, I'm sorry, proximity mines feel like a defensive ability that you would use either as special forces on like a defensive position, or, well, withdrawing. Because how do you use offensive proximity mines? Do you run the unit straight up point blank to, like, a group of battle droids or something and hope they're not all dead by the time they get in range to use them? Because otherwise, what's the point of them? Well, you could lure. No, proximity mines are, as far as I'm concerned, one of the worst abilities a unit can have. So whenever I see them, I immediately go, "All right, you. If you were like, if I were to give her like a standard tier list, units, S tier being like, this is the greatest unit. I use it in every battle, and like E tier or F tier or whatever is like, I've never used this unit and I never will." Whatever tier the unit is, I will immediately drop it like by 1 tier. So if this guy was a B tier because he's super powerful, I drop him down to C tier just for having proximity mine. Because, well, personally, I find them the most obnoxious ability to ever use.
So, while we're going ahead and bringing these troops down, this is such a beautiful map. Lots of details. Everything plays in here pretty well. We got aircraft and whatnot that we got to deal with. And it seems like we're getting harassed by pirates in our landing zone. So
yeah, those dropships are pretty cool. I will say those dropships are really cool looking.
Bring our guys over. And we're just going to use the infantry
blur blaster fire.
Forward.
The blue blur.
Now, while this fight is going on,
A lot of
I'm going to go
grenades.
ahead and talk about heroes and hero bonus stacking. So if you've got minor heroes with, say, a really strong, like a tier 3 aggressive trait or an offensive trait and then a tier 3 defensive trait, how's the game going to add those two things? So how it's going to work is it's going to take the highest number of each category. So, for example, to take Jay Stalin, so if you have a bold infantry commander with that 5% health bonus, and then you couple that with, say, an aggressive infantry commander, that aggressive infantry commander, their negative 7.5 bonus to health, the game is going to add the positives and the negatives together. So it will be a net loss to health of 2.5%. But, for example, where it comes to damage, 7.5% bonus to damage, it's not going to add that because it adds it just takes the highest of each positive and the highest of each negative and then adds those two numbers together. So I don't know if I'm making a ton of sense there.
So to summarize, I'm going to try and help explain it a bit more too. So basically what I think he means is if you got a positive and a negative trait, so it's 10% like bonus health, and the negative one is like minus 5%, the total net outcome would be 5% bonus health. You just would subtract the minus part from positive, negative from the positive. And if you have two, which is like one has 5% bonus health and the other one has like 10% bonus health, and they're both positive traits, it's just going to take the higher of the two. It's not going to add those two together. So you would just get a flat bonus of 10% instead of 15.
But that's one of those things that we can maybe put out a graphic or something on the Discord to help illustrate the point of how that's going to work. So what we're going to do here, just to show the effectiveness or ineffectiveness of the infantry horde, we're going to go ahead and form up right around here, because I'm assuming that they're going to have positions built up here since they've got little trench lines and protective barriers that the AI does know how to use. Oh, they're going to try and push me.
I would say the icons for the sector troops
Funny
looks
you
really
think you could
good.
do that.
Squad, advance. Affirmative.
They don't feel like some just garbage unit,
So-
even though they probably are. They are definitely a tier 0 starting
We're
unit.
going to go ahead, knock this Ackley out, easy money.
But they don't
Adjust
They don't look
adjust
like
our formation,
basically,
and then we're just going to charge up this hill.
army troopers,
And then
even
maybe
though they
secure a
are
turret so that doesn't
basically
happen
army
again.
troopers.
Right away.
I think it's the one guy holding his rifle up that actually makes him look like
So,
he's not just standing
I'm just going to
around.
fast forward through this so that we can get to basically attempting this same advance again, except with the hero present. And then you guys should be able to see the difference in what that looks like.
That area, sir.
But the advance of these guys, they just look cool.
They do.
You can't tell me that these doesn't look cool. This is one of Cheese's map. I think Bogdan was Cheese's first map.
Also one of the better. Yeah, it is a very awesome map, but I do have to point out that these tier 0 units look way better than the army troopers, as in they feel more like soldiers, whereas the army troopers feel more like cannon fodder, to be blunt. The army troopers, I think it's more of that the weaponry they are given is subpar, to say the least.
Now, just like in AOTR. Oh, well, since we're up here, when you see this little arrow here and the guys are going to kind of have a light blue flashing hue, that means that they are on high ground. High ground doubles their sight range and adds...
We literally have the high ground. No way did we get a high ground buff. Obi-Wan Kenobi is so powerful. His BS statement has become a literal fact in the game.
50% to their weapons range. So
Are you
we're trying to have
what?
more maps.
What? Obi-Wan Kenobi's overpowered ability has officially made it into a Star Wars mod. All right. Note to self: the high ground is the most effective place to be on the map.
Integrate high ground. Now, here's what we're going to do. Instead of bringing a next wave, I'm just going to go ahead and bring in Jace.
Be interesting.
And what we're gonna do is, since we saw we're gonna watch for his transport to land. Try and keep an eye on the health bars for the units down there. Now, unfortunately, there's a bug that's happening that makes it so that the hero head for infantry heroes doesn't show up in the top corner here, but for all your other heroes, they're going to show there. But you can always tell where the guy giving you the bonus is because he's going to have the faction insignia underneath. So his unit not only is equipped with...
Evidently, he's following in Fullock's footsteps and is at the very front of the formation. One day, I would like to have the guy at the back. As an infantry hero, having the commander on the front lines is cool. And it makes the cinematic cam look great. Until you see him die in the cinematic cam and go, "No, my hero!"
Rocket launchers, which makes them the ultimate anti-armor defense troopers.
Oh, that's cool.
But they've also got extra equipment. Now,
does he have a rally buff?
from here, our guys that
That code is
are
rally
on the
buff
high
on it?
ground, they're going to immediately start doing more damage. They're going to have more survivability,
Really?
which means overall they're going to be better at clearing the point.
I didn't read his actual
they've
buff,
taken
so
that
I'm not sure what he's
reinforcement
doing.
That's
I guess
up there.
I'll take Mr. President's word for it. He's
And then we
very
can
knowledgeable.
get a good look at these guys. Just like in AOTR, their equipment is going to vary. So as you can see, the rocket
how-
launcher guy there,
Hey, look at the weapons. These guys have way better weapons than the army troopers.
he's carrying a dumbfire rocket launcher.
And the
and you'll
backpack.
see
The backpack makes him look
maybe
like
in
he's
some other
actually got
showcase what a smart fire rocket launcher looks like.
plans
You
to
can always
survive the battle.
visually tell the difference as well
You
as
don't bring a
have,
backpack if you're gonna
projectiles.
die. There's no need to wear a backpack to your own funeral. It'll just slow you down.
Oh, let's knock out these Mandos. And then obviously they've got fire position.
He's getting destroyed.
Did he just get eaten? My bonus guy got eaten. These Mandos. And then obviously
Let's just watch that one more time. I knew it. I called it. Put the bloody commanders in the back of the formation, please. He just got
they've
slaughtered.
got fire position. Oof. Did he just get eaten?
Yeah, he got eaten
bonus
by the
guy got eaten.
dogs. I guess it doesn't even matter. His entire squad got ripped in half because he was in the front of the three of them. Oh. Or is that four? I guess it would have been four, it looks like. Yeah, and
I know relatively minor with the impact of those.
Reminder, that right there is why the heroes are going to be able to respawn. Or rather, I guess rebuild, because he's a minor hero. Major heroes you're still going to have to rescue, so they don't technically just instantly spawn. You will have to go rescue them. But, you get the point. He's not dead permanently because, well, obviously he didn't survive long enough to actually have done anything. And I think the best part about this change is Shaq will have heroes past week 10.
Those heroes, but just giving you an example of how those traits are going to look. So that's one on the ground, that's one in space. I'm most likely not going to publish a big graphic for the hero traits. I'm going to let you guys play the game and discover it for yourselves. But that's just a little overview on the hero traits, how everything is going to work. If you've got questions, leave them down in the comments below. I'm going to try my best to make sure that this mechanic is communicated as clearly as possible to you guys. And then in our next video, hopefully we can go over just maybe some miscellaneous smaller mechanics. We'll see the mood that I'm in. So anyway, you guys have a good one. Let me know.
I will link his video in the description, obviously. So if you guys do have any questions you want to go ask him, go right ahead and on over to his channel. Also, if you do, you can join the AOTR Discord. They have an entire channel dedicated to this mod where a lot of the devs are in there quite often and are more than happy to answer questions, especially related to the previews. I think there's even a preview chat that I rarely use, but it is there. So, plenty of ways to answer questions if you have them. Also, I'm going to make he's got another one. I'll probably put it in a separate video because I don't know how long this one is, but it's definitely over 25 minutes because this whole video itself was 25 minutes. But yeah, good job, AOTR dev team. Definitely looking forward to this mod, and yeah, we're gonna be hopefully playing the absolute crap out of this thing when it comes out, because, well, it looks amazing. They did an amazing job, and I gotta be honest, one of the reasons I haven't done a whole lot in actual Awakening Rebellion recently is after seeing a lot of these like changes and some of the other ones that I haven't made a video on, but I might. Second one, I guess, would be on a few of them, like the government heroes, and then maybe I'll put in that one the influence or whatever it was, the handshake mechanic. Maybe I'll put that in another one. But anyways, yeah, because of those ones, I've been more interested to see how AOTR is after they backport those, because it's gonna be really cool. Anyways, though, guys, if you did enjoy this one, leave a like on the video. Much appreciated. If you want to see the next one as soon as possible, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you all again probably the day after today with the other half of this video. This just don't want to make it too long. Bye.